So as people listen to this, tell them where they can find you on the old World Wide Web.
Yeah, our website is vonrocklaw.com. And in addition to the web, we lean hard into online marketing. So our SEO is very robust. You will see our social media posts across a variety of platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, for the most part. We're doing some local ads. We've started doing some geofencing lately, to, try to really, specifically, find the clients who we think could use our services. So our online marketing is probably a couple hours of my day each day, like coordinating that, expanding it, new ideas, things that we get at conferences, and implementing that with my team.
So you're doing new world, old world, referral based, and anything and everything that you think would increase your presence online.
Yes, because I really want the clients to be coming to Von Rock Law, not to Deidre Von Rock, right? That has a very limited lifespan. And if anything happens to me, then, what happens to the firm and all my employees and all my clients. So I value, and I'm teaching my young lawyers how to develop those personal relationships as well. It's important. And it's a solid, consistent referral base, but we really need to get it out from the world, right? So from people with California legal issues. And that's our dating Google, and always trying to get Google to be on our side and get us up there in the rankings and bring in more people.
So let's talk about the website a little bit, because it also won an award. So if you don't mind, let's talk about the award.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that. And then I wanted you to talk kind of what you've done as far as what makes your practice unique, because you've also, once again, got that uniqueness stamped on that. So talk a little bit about the award one and how that played out.
Yeah. So this year, a group called the Lawyerist, which is an industry group, deemed us to have one of the top 10 law firm websites in the world.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And they did a lot of test driving of it. So it's not just the aesthetics of it. It is the engine we have behind it, because we have it connected in our SEO in a number of ways. We have blog posts there for that reason in particular. But we also have our intake system, which we use Lawmatics, which runs behind. And so when you go into the website and, putting your name for information, you get fed into our CRM, Lawmatics, and you immediately start receiving emails and responses from us and things like that. So it's very user friendly. We have posted, I also think it's important just to educate in general. You don't have to hire me, but if you need to know, why do I need to do trust administration, or why do I need an estate plan? We had professionally produced videos done, and they're in our resources. So you can go and learn why you need an estate plan in a 3-minute video. So again, having the video is good for our metrics online, but it's also, a sort of a benevolent educational thing we'd like to offer to anyone. So I think because of ease of use, because it's pretty, and because there's a lot of sort of mechanics behind it, is what put us into that group.
When we look at your practice, what's one of the things that you would consider unique about your practice? What is the Von Rock Law difference for you as you think about this from a design perspective, like a great practice perspective?
Yeah, well, I think it permeates the whole thing. So I would say it is efficiency, transparency, and empathy. And that goes across everything. So on the efficiency, I love technology, right? And what technology, when, chosen well and when implemented well, what it can do for you. So, we have Clio as our practice management. We have Lawmatics as our CRM. We have Wealth Counsel. We have a whole bunch of little things that really make the actual work much more tolerable for my team, but it's a much better client experience as well, right? The way that we have put it all together, it can be done much more quickly, and then thus cheaply, but less expensively for the client. We can project that we can do flat fees because we know with all of these tools what our profitability is going to be, right? And what our goal for the hours put into the project is going to be. So, as much efficiency as possible. And that tends to come down to technology and processes with your team, right? Task lists and, all kind of procedures, manuals, things that, people aren't just sort of, you're wondering what they're doing all day. Right. So, a lot of technology efficiency, try to keep that on it as much as possible.
And lots of training. That's probably a lot of training that you've done a lot of training.
It's a lot of training. And fortunately, I have a team now, right, that can, train. So we'll go to something like Atticus or Clio, and I'll be like, okay, I want that AI. I want this new that. I want that new that. Make it happen. And so then my team gets into the weeds and starts building these products and getting them ready for implementation.
Well, you also have a secret weapon that you invested in, and that's your team leader. So why don't you talk about that for a minute, if you're okay?
Yes. Miss Alejandra Shockley. She has become my right hand. So, just backing up a little bit, before the lockdowns in 2020, there were 2 or 3 of us in my firm, right? It was still pretty small. 2020 hits, and it turns out people are not immortal. They're really not. They're watching the news. They're saying what happened. Estate planning got so popular, and we were positioned for it. We had to be remote, but we were already set up to be remote. We were paperless. We had our technology and we had our functioning website. So we just got, so much work. So I had to start hiring producers quickly, but then I had to start managing producers. And I knew that I needed someone to do that for me. And so the sort of team manager concept I had learned about, and went to this company called Freedom Makers. Freedom Makers is a company that places spouses of active military into usual contract or temporary positions. And I loved that concept. And through that, I found Alejandra, who lives in North Carolina. She has her bachelor's degree, 2 master's degree, and had an infant and a toddler at home. And she was, sort of HR was her thing. And so I was like, HR, that's where I need to start. And so brought her in as like my 5th employee to start really managing all the producers. And then she became who would hire, she could fire, she does all the onboarding, she manages our tech. She really helps me set the tone and then implement what we're going to be doing with the firm. And as I became involved in Atticus, we learned more about this official sort of team manager certification that she could look into getting. And that really just leveled her up as well, as far as learning, okay, we're going to do DISC profiles and we're going to learn love languages and be slow to hire and quick to fire, sort of all these things that we take for granted at this point, but really gave her these managed chops. And she's really my right hand now. And so with her, she is, I think, my 5th employee. There's 12 of us now. And I couldn't do any of this day to day without someone like that.